What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we are going to be talking about Marauders, number 21 by Jerry Duggan and Matteo Lolli. And in this video, we are going to see the opening of the Hellfire Gala and what Emma Frost has planned as entertainment for the masses that have been invited to this huge party. And more importantly, we're also going to learn a very valuable lesson as to why you don't invite a bunch of evil, mutant-hating humans to a party thrown by mutants. We're going to talk about all this and more right now, but first, if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoy the video, I humbly ask that you Hulk smash that like button because it really helps the channel out. Now, let's hit that intro.
Word wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Okay, so to talk about the Hellfire Gala, I'm going to be honest with you, we are going to have to jump around a little bit because there are some things that are going to happen in this comic that don't get paid off until the next issue, which is going to be X-Force number 20. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you some of those things. So there are going to be some things that happen in Marauders that I'm probably going to not talk about here, but I will talk about in the X-Force video. And there's going to be some things that happen in X-Force that I'm not going to talk about in that video, but they will get discussed here. That said, let's get on with the comic. When we kick this off, everybody is making their way into the gala through the Krakoa portals. There's the solicitation page that we saw maybe a month or so back where we see the Avengers approaching one of the Krakoa portals, and Tempo is the one who steps forward and is pinning the flower on Captain America's chest. And I don't think there was any dialogue with any of those solicitation pages, so everybody was making a huge deal about what was happening. There's nothing happening there. It's literally Tempo is just doing a job, though it is nice to see Jerry Duggan make use of her since he won't be able to make use of her in his forthcoming X-Men comic. Now, all of that aside, I do appreciate some of the commentary that comes up in this comic more often than not. This is a very interesting thing. I love the fact that when the Avengers show up at the gala, they see Emma Frost, Kate Pryde, and Sebastian Shaw, and what does Captain America call them? He calls them X-Men, which I actually appreciate the commentary by Jerry Duggan that when Sebastian Shaw tries to reply that technically we're not all X-Men, but Emma Frost cutting him off. I thought that was really interesting commentary because it is something that I think we as readers do a lot. I am guilty of it myself. I'm not knocking anybody for it. I usually say X-Men because it just simplifies matters when talking about mutants in general in case someone doesn't know what I'm talking about. But point of the matter is that everyone is invited. We are going to see characters the likes of the Avengers. We're also going to see the Fantastic Four show up, which I thought was a very interesting thing. And of course, we knew they were going to show up. We knew the Fantastic Four were going to pull up, but they also bring along Franklin Richards and Valeri, even Thing's wife, Alicia. They are all going to be there. I thought it was a really cool move. But the thing I thought was even more interesting about this was the fact that we get to see a moment between Charles Xavier and Reed Richards. This is the first time they have bumped into each other since Chip Zdarsky's X-Men Fantastic Four crossovers miniseries, and it's very interesting to see this interaction because when they meet up, Charles even says that I didn't think you would even show up, but Reed lets him know that he's not there to see the X-Men get him shine. He's not there for Charles. He's there because his kids wanted to go, and Franklin more so probably than anybody else. But there is a moment that they share where Reed gets very close to Charles Xavier and tells him that I also wanted to say something to your face. And when he gets close to him, he whispers in his ear. We don't get what he says, but whatever it is, Charles clearly did not like it. It's like Charles has a frown on his face as Reed walks away, and Reed is just as stone-faced as I think we have ever seen him in life. If you're wondering why this is such a big deal, it's because if you go back in X-Men Fantastic Four number 4 by Chip Zdarsky, in the fallout of that series, we saw that Charles Xavier wiped Reed's mind of the information regarding the technology that Reed had invented that could hide the mutant X gene, something that was originally thought to be the reason why Franklin was losing his powers. At this particular point, it wasn't quite revealed that Dan Slott's retcon with Xavier coming to Franklin and telling him that he was a human all along and that his reality warping abilities made him appear to be mutant when he really wasn't. That's a whole other story. But if you want to know more about it, I did videos on that one. I'll try and link them in the cards on this video. But just know that whatever it was that Reed said to Charles, it probably had something to do with that. Now, speaking of Franklin Richards, another interesting moment that comes up as a result of the Fantastic Four is the fact that when Kate and Franklin Richards meet up with one another, like, you can tell that we're kind of coming in on a conversation that was already in progress, where you can probably tell that Franklin is basically saying that I thought you would be disappointed or angry at me for no longer being a mutant or learning the truth about how I became a mutant. That's not something that's explicitly stated, but that's basically what he's talking about here. Kate is going to be honest, which is like, no, never. We're friends. I would never be mad at you for something like that. Now, of course, Xavier, he put salt in the wound, and I'm pretty sure Xavier knew what they were talking about when they walked up, or maybe it's just because Xavier's become this more aloof asshole than what he was already. I think a lot of people get it twisted that, we always go, oh man, Xavier, he's such an asshole now, but y'all forget that Charles Xavier was always an asshole. You are thinking about Patrick Stewart in those X-Men movies where he's a nice person. No, Charles Xavier has always been an asshole since like the 70s. But no, there's a point where Charles walks up and he says, it's always nice to see our human friends, especially you, Franklin. And it's one of those situations I'm just like, oh my God, you've already shit on this kid's entire dreams, his hopes, and everything that he was in love with about being a mutant, and you just came in and shit on it all over again. And you can tell that Franklin's not pleased with what he just heard. Kate tries to make up for it. She tries to make him feel better by saying that, hey, you got the 4 on your chest, and that is pretty cool. You are a member of the Fantastic Four. You are part of Marvel's first family. You are somebody important, and you are a hero in your own right. And of course, Kate does say that everything works out in the end, but I don't know if that's even an allusion to what is going to happen with Franklin down the road. On Dan Slott's side of things, it probably isn't, but it is what it is. Now, of course, I said the Avengers showed up, and you probably noticed Iron Man wasn't with them when he came in. This is because Iron Man came on his own, and he didn't travel through the portals because he just chose not to. He chose to arrive on his own and not use their technology. And it's all kind of written off here as to be just simple, playful banter between him and Quentin Quire, because Kid Omega is upset about the fact that Tony Stark is wearing side dampeners, so Quentin can't read his mind. All of this is really played up for laughs, but if you actually jump forward to X-Force number 20, which takes place immediately after this and in some ways kind of at the same time, we notice that their conversation is actually a bit more antagonistic in X-Force versus in Marauders. Pretty much everything that Iron Man says when he first shows up, it all stays the same. The reason why he doesn't wear his Krakoan flower on his lapel, or the fact that he is wearing the side dampeners and that he's not going to let Quinn Quire get in his head. But no, it goes a bit deeper than that. They actually have a little bit of a pissing contest with one another. The fact that Iron Man lets Quinn Quire know that he is a well of information, that he knows so many things, so many top secrets, that he's not going to let any telepath root around in his head and try and steal them. And of course, Quinn Quire recognizing that Tony is using technology to dampen psionic invasion, that is something that is actually more potent than what they used against the Red Skull a few years back. And I thought it was very interesting. But once you get all that aside, those aren't the only people who show up. We also see the likes of Dr. Doom coming straight out of Latveria, and he is not using the Krakoan gates either. Just like how Iron Man refused to do it, he uses his own technology and mysticism to transport himself there. We also notice that some villainous characters who we have seen interacting with the likes of mutant kind over the last bit since House of X, as well as even some people who even predate House of X. Ruben Brousseau, who, for those of you who are keeping up with Excalibur, he is the United Kingdom ambassador and has been a thorn in the side of Betsy Braddock, well, pretty much since the beginning of Excalibur post House of X. We also notice that the Russian ambassador, Natalia Volok, who we first were introduced to in House of X number 1, she is present, and she has been a thorn in the side of the mutants, and she has been trying desperately to overthrow Krakoa since the very beginning. She has had no interest whatsoever in trying to make any kind of a peace whatsoever with Krakoa in any fashion. She's even gone as far as to cut deals with the Verendi, who have also been a thorn in the side of the Marauders. We also know that Donald Pierce is back in the picture. picture because he is also at this particular point in time the ambassador of Madripoor and is also working closely with the Verendi as well. We also see J. Jonah Jameson pulling up, 3J himself pulling up, which I thought was a very interesting move. And this is actually thanks to one eagle-eyed fan and follower of the channel at Leo Archeri, who pointed out to me in front of 3J his famous married couple, Meredith Salinger and Patton Oswalt. And we also see one of the AIM beekeeper agents, Ned, who we last saw in the pages of Giant Size X-Men Phantom X and Giant Size X-Men Storm in 2020. Another character we also see is Doctor Strange, yet another character not using the Krakoan gates, simply using their own means to get where they need to go. Even Henry Peter Gyrick shows up to the Hellfire Gala, and this is something that I thought was incredibly interesting, considering that he is a long-time hater of mutants, and even when he's talking to Captain America about it and all the shenanigans that kind of roll out of that in regards to Emma Frost and her learning why Captain America is nice to her. We're not gonna get into that. I don't have time for that, but I just thought it was very interesting that in the midst of all that, the whole reasoning that Gyrick has with why he's even there, bringing up that, oh, well, I could never get you to show up to any of the Latverian galas, but yet you're here. And Captain America basically kind of letting him know in his own way that it's because it's Latveria, but Gyrick doesn't see a difference between the two. He sees Doctor Doom and mutants as equally dangerous. All of that aside, though, everything's going pretty good. It's actually not bad. We actually get another deep cut character brought out, a character by the name of Rhapsody, who I haven't seen or heard of in so long. But for those who are not familiar, Rhapsody is a character who is kind of a pseudo reality warper, but kind of more of a psionic more than anything else by my estimation. But basically, she has the ability to manipulate the emotions of others and make them see things, make them hallucinate things that aren't really happening. In this particular case, she is playing this Krakoan violin, a violin literally made from Krakoa itself that is a living violin, and in concert, pun intended, alongside Marvel Girl Jean Grey and the Stepford Cuckoos, she is able to create this incredibly potent hallucination that makes everyone in attendance feel like they're playing the violin the same way that Rhapsody is playing the violin. So for all intents and purposes, she is making all of them feel like they are a master violinist. Now, of course, as you may have noticed in these pictures, in the mix of all this, not only have we already seen characters like Ruben Brousseau, who is a piece of shit in his own right, but we also see Shen Zhao, who is more of a recent convert into the Verendi, but all of them are present and all of them are just as equally mind-boggled by this entire affair as anyone else is. Probably the only person present who isn't impressed is Doctor Doom. We also see Dolores Ramirez is present from X-Desk. She has been invited to the affairs, but the reason why I bring all this up is because while Dolores is speaking with Ruben Brousseau, it's Natalia Volok who shows up and pulls him away because apparently some other like-minded individuals, evil humans who hate mutants, they have a plan. They are plotting something, and she wants to introduce Ruben to the Verendi. As the proceedings carry on, whatever it is that's going on, Ruben has signed on board, and that they are all plotting something. They are apparently between the Verendi, the Russian government, and what we can presume is going to be Ruben Brousseau and the United Kingdom itself. They are plotting to make a move that is likely going to piss off a lot of mutants. And Sebastian Shaw is keenly aware of what is going on. He even tries to send his own son, Shinobi Shaw, to warn Emma Frost about it, but Emma Frost completely disregards it and basically just feels like, oh, well, if we're having our moment, why can't they have theirs too? And all the while this is going on, the Verendi, they are keeping watch on this. Immediately after this, we see Cade Kilgore and Wilhelmina Kensington watching over the proceedings and witnessing as their whatever plan they're coming together with is finally bearing fruit. But all the while, the Stepford Cuckoos have been put in place, and you'll notice this in the pages of this, comes up actually even more in the pages of Hellions later, but they're actually keeping kind of a psychic wiretap going on over the proceedings. Anything that looks out of place, they're keeping up with. And I notice at this point, the Cuckoos realize what's going on with the Verendi. They don't really know exactly what's going on, but whatever's going on, they wind up getting inside Wilhelmina's head, and they make her remember something that we don't really know what it is she's meant to remember, but whatever it is, she most certainly remembers it, and she looks like she she has seen a ghost. I have a feeling this will end up playing out more in future pages of the Marauders, or maybe even the X-Men proper, since Jerry Duggan will be writing that as well. All in all, this is one huge, incredible party, and I gotta admit, I wasn't really expecting things to go quite the way they went at the end. However, there is a moment that's going to occur at the end of this comic, and I feel like it's something that is probably gonna pay dividends way on down the line. Like, it's going to be something that we're going to be talking about going forward for quite some time in regards to all things mutant related in terms of, you know, the X-Men, Marauders, X-Force, everything, because we come back to the party after all the fireworks and everything that Emma Frost has promised, and suddenly all of the people who were in attendance are leaving. Not only are they leaving, but they all look like they are in some kind of pain, that something has happened to them, and we're not told explicitly what it is in this issue. However, there's even one point where Emma is speaking with the Brazilian ambassador, where she basically tells him that what you've done here tonight is wonderful. You will galvanize humanity in a way that it never was to confront the threat posed by mutant kind, and she is quite okay with saying this to a whole ass Emma Frost, who, mind you, is in diamond form right now, but that's neither here nor there. We even notice that as the Avengers are leaving, they don't even seem incredibly thrilled about what's going on. We even notice that Doctor Strange, when he's approached by magic, he says that he doesn't want to be rude to her about something, that he has to gather his thoughts. Captain America, when he's speaking with Cyclops, he seems incredibly not okay with what just happened. He even asked Cyclops if he knew about what was going to happen. Something very big happened at this party, and right now Jerry Duggan has kind of planted the seed to let you know that all the stuff that they're talking about right now is not something that's going to be answered in the next issue of Marauders, but is going to be dealt with in the very next video, which is going to be X-Force number 20. I will definitely say, though, that I did enjoy this issue. I thought it was really cool seeing some of the festivities, everything that was going on, some of the callbacks and things of that nature. Watching Thing roll some bones with Bishop and Shinobi Shaw and Pyro and Iceman and Ned from Hive, and seeing Emma Frost reconnecting with Banshee, because you gotta remember, Emma and Banshee have history, as they were both the leaders, the headmasters during the run of Generation X. It was all really good, but definitely don't worry, we are going to get back to it, I promise you. In the next video, we will be talking about why the humans left the Hellfire Gala incredibly upset, and trust me, it'll be worth the wait. That said, if you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button, and make sure to share this video all over the internet and with all your friends, so they'll know how you leveled up your comic book big brain in regards to the Marauders and the Hellfire Gala. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought about Marauders number 21. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.